Hello everyone. Today we are at the Thomas More University, which is the largest university in Belgium of applied sciences. We're going to have a discussion about future-proof skills and how you can train students to build these skills. I'm joined by Hanne, Hanne Blockx, who is working for IceCube. Hi Hanne, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
So you are working for IceCube. That's a cool name. But what does IceCube stand for?
Well, IceCube stands for Stimulating Innovation, Creativity and Entrepreneurship. And this we do amongst our students and lecturers. So we believe that if you want to be an intrapreneur in an organization or start your own business and become an entrepreneur, you will need to have future-proof skills to do that.
So I appreciate these future-proof skills are really important for students. But which skills do you think are really crucial to train your students?
I think the first skill that you need to be able to is having an open mindset and spot opportunities. And next, when you are able to spot opportunities, then you can think about creative solutions to it. But an idea is just an idea, so you have to build a concept, a minimal viable product, which you will test with your audience, with your in your context you want to design it for. So that's design thinking. And next, when the product is tested and is approved, then you can go to market, and then you have to be coached on business concepts, on business modeling, on finance, on market launch strategy, on pitching for investments and so on.
So you mentioned a lot of things. You mentioned creative thinking, you mentioned how to make a minimum viable product, you mentioned how to launch a business, doing a pitch and so on. So why exactly do you think these skills are so important for students?
Yes, I see two things happening. On the one hand, we have a fast changing world that is due to the openness of data, the global world. All information is accessible. On the other hand, we are dealing with more complex challenges. For example, climate change, or now the pandemic we are challenging. For example, normally a vaccine takes 5 to 10 years to develop, but now due to the pandemic, we see a more fast process we are going through, because all the levels are cooperating, co-creating with each other and feel the sense of urgency. So to cope with these mechanisms and to go fast, you need to have other skills. For example, like co-creating, be creative in which solution you will provide, in pitching your ideas and creating your network and so on.
Okay. So how can you train these skills in your students? Which kind of activities do you organize?
So in IceCube we build 5 blocks. We go from a low level to a high intensity program. So we are designed like the first one is ICE events. These are low level events, for example, the night of the student entrepreneur, or testimonials from other student entrepreneurs and so on.
Okay.
Then if you want to train one exact skill in IceCube, you can go to the ICE Academy, where you can follow, for example, the Speakers Academy to train your public speaking, or follow or start a boot camp where you will learn how to go from no idea to your first business concept. What we also do is we provide an ICE Honors project for students who want to accelerate in their personal growth, and we have the ICE Startup to start your own business. And then we also have for our lecturers an ICE professional track, the ICE Pro, where we train them and coach them to teach their students ICE skills.
Okay, so students can go to an ICE event, and then if they get excited they can go for more intensive courses.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes. We see that often happening, that they have followed one course at IceCube, and next they want to start their own business and go to a more intensive program. So the first trigger has to be there, and then they will go really far. Yes.
That sounds really interesting. Hanne, what I'm thinking about, these future-proof skills, do they require another way of examining? For example, creative thinking or innovative thinking. How do you evaluate this during these IceCube events?
I make a distinction between what the product is in the end, but I think the biggest win is in the process. So, and what I mean about the process is what skills do we train, like hard skills and soft skills. Soft skills are, for example, giving feedback or your personal leadership, and hard skills are like your finance, your business modeling, pitching skills, and so on. So what do I often see is that, for example, our students go from an idea straight to their solution. And how are you going to evaluate that is I'm making some steps in behavior I want to see. So the first step is I want the student to pinpoint what they observe in the context. Next, I want to see what design criteria they will give to the context, and next, based on the design criteria and the analysis in the context, then I want to say what is your solution to that problem. So I make it snackable, and that's the biggest thing I use for now. So I look at the behavior I want to see. What I also do is we are developing a competence framework so that our team is in the same direction on it. And a third thing we use is the Entrecomp. It's the European reference on entrepreneurship in Europe.
So what do you get out of these evaluations? Do you think your students are sufficiently prepared after the IceCube events?
Yes, I'm a learning designer, so yeah. When do you have impact with your courses? I think it depends on the intensity of the program. For example, when you go to one testimonial, you won't be able to be an entrepreneur yourself, but it can be your trigger to go further. What I do think it's important when you learn, it's an activity you have to do over and over again. So the same framework in different contexts, and you have to repeat it and you have to train yourself in it. So what I do believe is when you follow a course in IceCube and next you go to an intensive program and you train it and train it and train it, you will live your frameworks and you will live the things you do, and that's how you learn. So you have to create new patterns and you have to repeat. You have to train yourself in dealing with these frameworks, I guess, yeah.
So the events you organize with IceCube, is it mainly interesting for IT students or business students, or is it really open for everyone?
Open for the best.
The best? Only the best? Is it only for the best students?
No, definitely not. But for me, a lot of motivated students, and that's are for me the best students. So the ones who are curious about learning new things, or the ones who want to come out of their comfort zone, who want to co-create with other disciplines and are curious, what can I learn from others? So I think that for me, that are the best students, like the curious ones who want to learn over and over again new things. Yeah.
So it's definitely not only for students which are in business curriculums or...
No, definitely not. It's for everyone. Also in your daily work and life balance, I think you have to be entrepreneurial. What I do think is that at IceCube we don't deepen your knowledge, but we broaden your knowledge. We learn you, or we teach you other competences than you will learn in your own educational program. So if you want, I will give you an example of it.
Yes, okay. Please.
For example, I think you are from the educational program.
Yes.
So if you have a student from primary education and you put them together with an IT student, they both have their own expertise. Like the teacher has this expertise in children's development, psychology, in how to teach,
didactical principles,
yes. Yeah. Yes, of course. And on the other hand, the IT student will be able how to develop an application or other technical stuff. But we don't coach them on to deepen their knowledge. We expect that they bring their knowledge to the table, And what we are going to do is learn them how to co-create, learn them how to test it in the context, how to make a great product, which combines the best of the two worlds. So we broaden their knowledge, we don't deepen their knowledge.
Okay. So Hanne, I'm a teacher here at the Thomas More University. Can you give me some advice on any tools I can implement in my classes to build these future-proof skills of my students?
Definitely. The first, I think, is to inspire your students. You have much more knowledge in your head, and like I already said, I don't believe in outside-the-box thinking, but in inside-the-box thinking. So you as a teacher can inspire your students with examples they didn't know. A second thing is become a coach. Question them, why do you do this? How will you do it? So make sure they get entrepreneurial. And last but not least, to help you as a teacher, you can find some tools to work with. For example, stimulating creativity with some brainstorm techniques, or how to stimulate your students on public speaking. So let them search for inspiring TED Talks and reflect on them. What makes it a good TED Talk, or why not? So I think these three are the most important things you can do as a teacher. And the fourth thing is come to ICE Pro, and we will coach you as a teacher how to get it in your classroom.
That's a good idea. I will think about it. And meanwhile, try to incorporate things you said, inspire, use tools, and then coach my students. So that are definitely some very useful tips and tricks. Maybe a last question for you, Hanne. You and your colleagues who are working at IceCube, which kind of background do you have?
We definitely not have only a business background. We have different backgrounds in our profile, in our team. The first thing I want to mention is we have 14 members in our team, but 3 of them are students. So we believe that students are the core of our team, and they have to build entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship in our organization. Other profiles, we have some from business, but we also have from primary education, from nursing, from IT. So we have a lot of competences together. And it's important both for the hard skills and the soft skills. For me, example, I'm a learning designer. So developing courses, developing learning events on entrepreneurship is my fun thing to do, or how do I say it? And what we also think is important, we have ICE ambassadors. So in different educational programs, we have believers from IceCube, and they put their ICE vibe in their classroom with their students. And last but not least, we also work with alumni and partnerships, because we think that expertise from outside getting in is a very important thing to stimulate new vibes, new learning opportunities, and so on.
So Hanne, that was really interesting. I learned a lot today about future-proof skills, how I can train my students to do it, but also how you can implement it at a university or a secondary school. So thanks a lot for being here and for making time for this interview.
Well done, thank you.
Thanks.